Hey Deckers, Liam here. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged is officially out now. A Milestone sent over a key to my Steam curator page, so I thought I'd give it a spin, see what it's like and do a video. Now, some good news to begin with. It does work out of the box with pretty good performance in the races. It looks good and it feels pretty great, it's fun to play, and the AI is actually quite challenging as well. The races themselves all work fine, but there are some technical issues running it with Proton on Steam Deck to let you know about. Firstly, there is supposed to be a little background video on the logo screen that just gives you a white background with a logo like I'm showing you here. Then, when you get to the main menu, the background is entirely white, which again, it's not supposed to be, and that also shows up in the settings, as you can't read them until you actually move over them like I'm showing you here. With everything on the defaults of Ultra out of the box, where I initially just thought this menu was blank because there should be a background, but no, you are actually supposed to be able to see them. To be clear, the footage in my capture here is on the high overall graphics preset with no other changes. I simply dropped it down from Ultra to very high and then to high just on the main graphics preset. Other issues in the game include the videos in the Creator Rampage mode don't seem to work and give you a black screen like I'm showing you here as well. But the weird thing is the first story video does appear to work, but then the next one does not. However, you can just press a button to skip and they're not exactly necessary for playing and enjoying a racing game. Testing it with Proton 8, Proton Experimental, and the latest GE Proton 8-21 gave all the same issues, so I have opened a bug report with Valve on that, so they will hopefully fix it in Proton. Again though, not really a problem, you can skip the videos and the backgrounds aren't really a big problem either. Just some annoying issues, but again the races themselves do work just fine and perform well even on high settings. Now, before getting into the full details on this game, there are a few things that do concern me on how Milestone have done this that I think you should be aware of first of all. To begin with, the previous game is only 2 years old, and it already has a full-priced sequel. I found that to be pretty surprising for the developer to so swiftly move on from everyone who picked up the original game. I don't know if that's just my brain being so tired and rewired from oh so many live service games that go on for years and years, but even so, 2 years just seems ridiculously short. Especially so on the bigger point of the monetization. This is a full price game just like the previous game. It's not particularly cheap either, and the previous game has about 67 DLC. And now this game, launched with a deluxe edition, a legendary edition, a season pass, and 2 other DLC. Now the deluxe edition includes the first season pass, while the legendary edition includes their plans for a second season pass. So you need to bear in mind that you'll be paying about £44.99 British pounds, so it's about $49.99 US dollars for just the base game, and then likely a lot more on top of that for the rest of the content. The first season pass alone is £24.99 British pounds, so $29.99 US dollars, and they say that will include an extra 25 vehicles and 2 new environments, and that will be all released by February 2024. Their extra monetization of this series of a full price game is perhaps a little bit over the top, especially when you take into consideration the first in the series was moved on from after only 2 years. Additionally, it also has easy anti-cheat from Epic Online Services. So far though, that hasn't actually caused any issues and does seem to work just fine, but it's something else that you need to know. It all appears fully enabled, so that's great, and online play in my testing did work without any real problems. Okay, so those are my concerns out of the way. Now, as mentioned, it does work though overall pretty great, and it is a lot of fun. If the previous mentioned issues don't bother you, then with Proton 8, which is the current latest stable Proton on SteamOS 3.5 preview, I'm running it on a stock Steam Deck as well, no RAM changes, no cryo utilities, and it all just performs quite nicely. And this is basically a continuation of the first game in the series. It doesn't offer many drastic changes, but if you like the first one, you're going to be pretty safe in picking this one up because you'll enjoy it as well. Now, if you've not played either of them, this is the better one to pick up since it's actively supported and it has a fair amount of content to play through and unlock. And it's a ridiculous amount of fun as well. And I'm just impressed that it runs as great as it does. In a time where we're seeing many releases that come out and just perform so badly, Milestone actually did a pretty reasonable job on making it look good and perform well, so they at least get the thumbs up from me on that. Although I do recommend dropping the overall graphics preset down from the default of Ultra because it's just too much. Drop it down to at least high, maybe even medium, because there are various graphical effects on some of the levels that do give you some FPS drops. The drops do sort of quickly sort themselves out, and the footage that you're seeing is on the high details preset, but overall, I just think dropping it down that little bit to get it smoother for most of the time is the best way to do it. Battery life without any changes at 60 FPS will give you about 2 hours, which is reasonable, and testing it with offline mode on the Steam Deck does also work just fine, so thankfully it's not locked behind needing to be online like some games recently have been, like Tony Hawk for example, although that game is now fixed. Naturally though, some features do not work when you are set to offline mode. This game does feature a range of different modes that you can go through, from the main campaign, which goes through various different game modes, or you can do quick play, where you can also do split screen and you can pick exactly what you want, like quick race, time trial, drift master, elimination, and waypoint, and there's even a track editor as well. And as you play through and level up, you're also given in-game coins, which you then go and purchase more vehicles to expand your garage, which I found quite enjoyable because I did used to collect little Hot Wheels cars, and my son actually collects them as well, so it's just a nice bit of nostalgia really. So if you want a very accessible racer that does run nicely on the Steam Deck, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged appears to be pretty darn good, if the issues of videos and some backgrounds not appearing doesn't bother you too much. Hopefully Valve will be able to solve those problems in a future Proton update. They don't exactly seem like big issues. If those issues weren't present, I would probably give it a good thumbs up overall, but it's just something you do need to be aware of. That's it for my quick take on this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you've tried it out, let me know what you think, and I'll see you later.